Good evening, friends, colleagues and champions of small businesses. It's a real pleasure to welcome you all to this evening's SME4LABOUR reception here at the conference. We're especially grateful to Asia House for kindly supporting tonight's event, and I'd like to thank their CEO Michael Lawrence and his colleagues for joining us tonight. Your sport makes a huge difference and shows the power of partnership in action, Michael. This conference has been buzzing with energy, and for SME4LABOUR, it has been one of our busiest ever. Over the past few days, we have hosted more than 40, that was a question from Purpose Coalition, 40 events, bringing together ministers, business leaders, entrepreneurs, and grassroots activists. Each conversation has reinforced one truth. SMEs are at the heart of our economy and at the heart of our communities across the country. We all know the challenges small and medium-sized businesses face: rising costs, access to finance, skills shortages, a global uncertainty. But we also know the extraordinary resilience and creativity of SMEs. You are the backbone of Britain, creating jobs, driving innovation, and breathing life into our high streets and local economies. That is why SME4LABOUR exists, to make sure your voice is heard, loud and clear, inside the Labour Party, and to work with colleagues across the movement to shape policies that back small businesses to grow, to hire, and to succeed. Tonight is about more than just speeches, it's about connection. Over food and drinks, let's strengthen the networks that help us all go further. Let's celebrate what we've achieved together so far, and let's look ahead with confidence. Because together with Labour, with SME4LABOUR, with friends and partners like Asia House, we can build a fairer, stronger economy where every small business has the chance to thrive. And I'm delighted that we also have a fantastic line of speakers joining us tonight. You'll be hearing shortly from Martin McCluskey MP, Michael Lawrence, CEO of Asia House, Hamish Falconer MP, John Grady MP, Bill Esterson MP, Noah Law MP, and Siobhain McDonagh MP, each bringing their own perspectives on why SMEs matter and how Labour can deliver for them. So let's raise a glass to our entrepreneurs, to our workers, to our movement, and to the future we will build together. Thank you. Michael and Hamish are still on the way, so we'll start with John Grady. He has to leave early as well, and then follow with Bill Esterson.
Good, well thank you very much. And I think the first thing to say is that SME4LABOUR is something we very, very much value in the Labour family. And Ibrahim's work is massively important here, and as a Labour MP, as a long-standing, as you can tell from the grey hair, member of the Labour family, Ibrahim's work, the SME work in the Labour family is really, really important, and made a big, big contribution to our fantastic election victory last year. I think the second thing to say is your outlook is improving, because you're improving in terms of MPs. You're going to start with me, and then you'll have Bill, Siobhain and Noah, who are much better MPs. I'd like to emphasise as the MP for Glasgow East how proud I am of my own SME business community, and from Govan Hill to Baileystoke I've got brilliant businesses and services, manufacturing, construction, retail and many, many others, and they create jobs, wealth and also bring joy to my constituency and the people of Glasgow. And something else I'd say about Glasgow, which is a city where Anna Sarwar's dad built a fantastic business, because business runs through Scottish Labour, is the diversity of our business people, of all our different diverse communities, is something to treasure and celebrate. And today we reject what people like Nigel Farage says and celebrate that diversity. It's something to be treasured, and it's a real source of strength in my seat. Now, I, like Dame Siobhain, am a member of the Treasury Select Committee, so from an economic perspective, let me be very, very clear to each of you who run businesses here and take the risks involved in running businesses. You are the future of generating the wealth to create employment, to create opportunities for young people, and also to create the wealth that we can spend on education and on the NHS. And I simply say this, we need the money for the NHS in Scotland because the SNP have wasted it all and destroyed the NHS. We have record waiting lists. We're doing a lot as a government for SMEs. We know we've got a lot more to do, but things like the trade deals open up huge opportunities for SMEs. But I'll simply conclude with this as we move towards the end of our conference. We are a pro-business party. Business has always been part of our party and part of the socialist movement, from William Morris to Ibrahim here today. And it's something that I as an MP, and I know Bill and the rest of us, are really, really proud of. So thank you very much for all your support. Stick with us as we renew Britain. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Now I invite Bill Esterson to say a few words.
Ibrahim, thank you very much. Thank you everybody for being here. Love to see so many good long-standing friends who have supported the Labour Party over ups and downs of many years, and SME for Labour has been at the forefront of that. You and your team deserve every credit for sticking by us and helping us get into government. And look, my own background is that my granddad was what they used to call a tobacconist. For those of you in the room younger than me, which is most of you, won't remember what they were, but it's a corner shop in probably or a convenience store in today's money. And I learned from him the value of being a strong trade unionist and a small business owner at the same time, and the importance of treating your staff well, of looking after your community, and that is in the finest traditions of Britain's small business communities. And I opened my first business over 30 years ago, carrying on the family tradition. So I come at this agenda from as one who's always seen Labour and the business community as being very natural partners in our communities up and down the country. The partnership we've seen over the years between local government and business is a strong one, and you saw it in Keir's speech today where he set out just how this Labour government is delivering for business and industry, and how the stability and certainty that he and Rachel Reeves have put into the economy will benefit all the way through. Now, I chair the Energy Security and Net Zero Select Committee, so I'll talk about one opportunity that this government is delivering for business. It's the Warm Homes Plan. It's going to help people in fuel poverty by reducing bills, but more than that, it's going to create jobs in every single community of our country through the businesses who are going to be installing energy efficiency measures, along with the solar, battery storage and electric heating, whether it's heat pumps or anything else. And this kind of action from government in partnership with business is the hallmark of what Labour is delivering in our country for businesses large and small. And it's small builders in that case and small installers who will do the bulk of the work. So we are in government, we are delivering. It is 60% of private sector employment, as the graphic over there states. You are a fantastically important part of our success in the coming years. Thank you all for the support you give the Labour Party by being here, and the support you give us up and down the country throughout the year. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you.
Dame Siobhain McDonagh now will join us to say a few words.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you all for being here. Thank you for the contribution that you've made over the last few days, of the almost frenetic number of meetings that Ibrahim and his team have organised in this marquee tent. Not sure what we're calling it, but Ibrahim is the ultimate in what an SME does. He identifies a gap in the market and he fills it. And my God, has he not filled this marquee, and has he not filled the way in which he is able to organise the voice of small and medium enterprises in the Labour Party. There can be no Labour MP who has not heard you, who has not heard your arguments. Of course, it might be that Ibrahim hasn't got an MP's mobile phone number, in which case they may have missed it. But I am sure there is no Labour MP whose number he doesn't have, because you get messages in the day, in the night, in the early morning, beseeching you to be involved with the SMEs that he is concerned about. He is your representative, he does that job, and we hear your voice loud and clear. Thank you for all you do for our constituents and our country, for your entrepreneurial drive and your determination to succeed in often difficult circumstances. Being an MP is a bit like being an SME. You kind of decide your market, decide what you're about and go for it. We understand your pain, but we also understand your determination and your focus. Thank you for all you do.
There's a hidden message in that for me. I'll send less messages. Now I'll invite Noah Lowe MP to say a few words.
Thank you, Ibrahim, and I can't echo enough the thoughts of my colleagues on the job that you do to send a message right up to Westminster of our SMEs and how you bring people with SMEs in the labour movement together. It's a really, really valuable part of what we need to do in government with our growth mission and ensuring that growth is felt in every part of the country. And it's particularly pertinent in Cornwall because SMEs, where I represent, make up the backbone of our economy. So it's disproportionately important for me to get that voice across and their concerns raised in Westminster. But I also want to raise why it's important to our growth and not just the status quo in the Cornwall that you might know from your holidays and visits there. It's also vitally important that the SME voice is heard in our industrial strategy and in delivering that national renewal that you've heard so much about this past couple of days. So for me in Cornwall, we have, I would say, a select few real growth opportunities of scale. Some of you who know me might know that I bang on about critical minerals and our fabulous mining industry in Cornwall that never really went away. But boy, do we have an opportunity in that industry now. And without SMEs, without that supply chain that runs through the spine of Cornwall and will make that growth felt in the communities that I represent, there will be no success of our growth mission and of the critical minerals industry in Cornwall. So I want to give you just that one example of where I'm working hand in glove with businesses in our supply chain to try and get their voice heard and make sure that they can seize the opportunity that our growth mission and our mission for national renewal represents. Let's make sure that SMEs are at the heart of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Noah. I invite Michael Morden, CEO of Asia House, to say a few words. And I think Hamish and Martin are on their way as well. They haven't arrived yet. Michael.
Yeah, thanks very much indeed. The relationship between Asia House and SME4LABOUR is relatively young, but we already value it incredibly highly, and we're hoping to build on that, forge stronger relationships, because evidence of the last couple of days shows how important this group is and how important SMEs are to the UK. For those of you who don't know us, Asia House is a think tank. We work with governments and companies to drive commercial outcome. We convene decision makers, we discuss policy, often in private settings. And what's very clear is that we are in a very turbulent and unpredictable world where policies are changing, new alliances are being forged. What is also clear, though, is the growth agenda of the government and the importance of SMEs in terms of that growth agenda. We look at trade and investment, we look at technology and sustainability, and inevitably geopolitics. In fact, one of your events yesterday, Hamish, who's just joined us, was on the panel. John Grady was, supported by the Qatar Embassy. They're great supporters as well. Initially we were going to talk about trade, and we did talk about trade and the opportunities for small businesses with the up-and-coming GCC UK FTA, but inevitably it turned to Palestine because that's one of the key geopolitical issues facing the world at the moment. So I'll leave it there, but just thanks to Ibrahim, fantastic partnership. Congratulations to all of you on the fantastic work you are doing. Wonderful to see so many MPs here, there's so many entrepreneurs, so many driven businesses, and we have common goals to drive business outcomes to get things done. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Michael. We now have Hamish Falconer, MP and Minister for Middle East, joining us. Hamish.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I feel like I've spent maybe half of my conference in this great pod with Ibrahim, with Michael and with others. I won't talk for very long. I'm just going to say a little bit about the Middle East, North Africa and Afghanistan and Pakistan. My ministerial responsibilities, just following on from some of what Michael said. But I also want to talk about Lincoln, particularly because there was a fine son of Lincoln here. So he would be hurt, as would I, not to, in my final speaking remarks of the conference, cover my home as well as my job. So as Michael says, it is absolutely key and clear that the Middle East and North Africa and the UK continue to have a booming economic relationship. We are working on the free trade agreement, which I hope to see progress on very soon. The negotiations are going well with the GCC. I can see, even in my city, the impact that some of those commercial relationships are having. Sometimes it is smart young digital companies leaving Lincoln and going to Dubai, which I resent very much, but it is an indication of just how global, even for SMEs, the world has become. That company, which is called Distract, is absolutely excellent. They have moved to Dubai in part because they see real opportunities there. And I think those are the kind of moves which previously you would imagine only much larger companies being able to consider. On the other hand, we also have a huge growth in investment and business that is coming from the Middle East, partly because we have long associations with the Middle East. The university has quite a lot of Gulfi students. The RAF trains a whole range of Gulfi pilots in RAF Waddington, which is within my constituency. These links, even if they might have seemed ephemeral in the past, are now really strong bases for SME growth. And as you heard from the Prime Minister in the speech earlier, growth remains the #1 mission of this government. I, of course, have many solemn and sober responsibilities in relation to geopolitics, war and peace, but I also am an advocate for UK business. One of the key jobs that I am doing the whole time is trying to make sure that that partnership grows, and it is growing. I went to an event recently where someone was saying, why aren't you saying more about what you are doing overseas, commenting both on the very dramatic expansion in trade with Morocco, with Iraq. There was a whole growth between the UK, Middle East and North Africa, which is often unreported. But if you look at the deals, if you look at the flow of monies, the UK is in fact doing incredibly well. And I'm proud to play my part in that, and I'll continue to play my part in that. I'll end by just saying a little bit about Lincoln. It is so obvious in a place like Lincoln, which, like so many of our constituencies, and it's great to see so many colleagues in the room, overwhelmingly it's a place in which people are employed in SMEs, often very small SMEs, with just 1, 2 or 3 people. It is so much harder as a politician to have the sort of detailed, substantive engagement that a really small organisation needs to have, because they don't have policy people, they don't have lobbyists that come to Labour conference. And so it is a much more painstaking thing to do to make sure that you really do understand what it is that the small independent businesses of the Vale require in order to keep going. And those small independent businesses, which have been such a feature of Lincoln's commercial fabric for hundreds upon hundreds of years, is a really vital part of the community I represent. So I am going to commend Ibrahim, who I have known for an incredibly long time, who is tireless in making sure that SME voices are heard, that SMEs themselves have access to politicians. SMEs in this country do not have a mountain of paid lobbyists, but they do have SME4LABOUR, and the work that Ibrahim does to ensure that we are hearing a whole range of voices is incredibly important. I'm delighted to have spent so much time in this pod, partly because those voices are important to me, partly because it's one of the warmest places in the conference, so it's always leaves you feeling cool and refreshed as you leave. I kid, it has been such a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me. A huge thank you to Ibrahim and also to my fellow partners. Thank you.
Martin comes, we'll get him to say a few words as well.
How many events have you done? Not for you. I feel sorry for myself.